We're a wargaming club out of Bendigo, Central Victoria. Say good day, Luke.
Hey, how you going?
Say good day, Joel.
G'day guys, how are you?
Good, good. Now, tonight we're going to be talking through the Artefacts of the Realms. Just like everybody else out there, we are stoked for AOS 2.0, and we're excited to have all these new tools to work with. So the format of tonight's show, we're going to be going through realm by realm. We're each going to pick out what we think are the most powerful artifacts. We're going to be picking out a couple that we think are stealth picks and renegade tech, and we're going to be picking out a couple that we think are fun or present hobby opportunities. But we're going to be picking one each per realm, and trying to give you a bit of an oversight of the new tools that we'll have to work with, that we're all excited to get stuck into. So, introducing first of all, we have the Mortarch of Central Victoria, the Mortarch of the Australian Bush, Luke, the Dark Prince Ingram. How are you doing, Luke?
Yeah, I'm very well tonight. And yourself?
Very good, mate. Now, just for the guys at home, you are a death specialist.
Working towards it.
Yep. So what's your AOS 2.0 army looking like, Luke?
Rightio, so at the moment, I have been playing Legion of Night. I'm starting to move on to the Grand Host. Really looking forward to getting into Nagash with the Portal.
Oh, yeah. Getting that hand of dust going.
Yep.
Yeah, the rest of us aren't.
It's the only way to do it.
Yeah. Yep.
That'll make a space, and then we'll drop the endless spells into that space.
Sounds like a lot of fun for you. And how about you, Joel? What are you excited about?
Excited about a new Slanesh battle tome. If that ever comes out. No, I'm loving this new edition. I love all the endless spells. I love just what the realm stuff does. Not so much the realm rules themselves, but just the artifacts and the spells. Just how much it adds to the game. So yeah, I'm really keen just to play with all that.
Totally agree with you, mate. I think those endless spells, they're going to be a real signature thing for AOS 2. And I reckon we've had a few new guys at the club recently. We are a very open club, very welcoming club. As you can tell from my accent, I'm a new Australian, and I hadn't long been off the plane when these guys welcomed me into the club, and they've been really good bunch of guys to get involved with and go along the Age of Sigmar journey. And we've had a few newcomers to the club recently, which it's an exciting time, great opportunity for people to jump on board. And I think when they see those Ravanax, gnashing jaws zooming around the table, or that big scythe chopping through things, you just look at that on the table and you think, what the fuck is that? It's eye-catching. I think it's going to be a great hook to get people involved in the game. So let's get down to it. We'll start off with Guy Ran, and I will kick us off, if that's all right with you boys. I've got one for you, mate. Go for it. I've got one for you, which is an artifact of power, and my pick for Guy Ran is the Hyper Snare Seeds. So at the end of your opponent's shooting phase, pick an enemy unit within 8 inches that is visible and roll a dice. On a 5-up, they may not charge. So essentially, on a 5-up, you can grot block your opponent from charging you. If they're 9 inches out, so they've deep striked, it doesn't work, but then they've got to pop a 9-inch charge. The reason I like this one, we've got 84 artifacts to read through. It's easy to skim over them and go, you're flicking through, 5-up, fuck that, never going to happen. Move on, what's next? Thing is, it's a 5-up every single round of the game. So it's a 5-up 5 times per game. You're going to get that off twice a game. And over the course of a 5-game event, I reckon when you're stopping a couple of clutch charges per game, that's going to win you a game. Over a 5-game event, that's going to win you a game. It might not be the top number 1 pick, but if you're playing an army with a couple of battalions, you've got 2 or 3 picks, I'm taking that. I'm taking that and giving it a run out because, like I said, I think stopping two charges a game, one of them's probably going to be a clutch important charge. I reckon there's legs in that. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you there. Late game, someone has to make that crucial charge. Yeah, it's happened to all of us. And yeah, you just roll that 5-up. It's like, nah, you're fucked.
Yeah. You're 3 inches out. You're +3 on the charge. Don't care. You can't charge on a 5-up 1 time 3. Yeah. What about you? Luke? What you got for us?
Well, look, one thing with that one, another thing I really think is going to be really, really good about that is there's going to be so many bonuses to charging in the new edition, particularly with things like cogs and so forth. Yeah. So that's where it really could come into its own.
You're right. I mean, I played
for sure. It's a really good counter to the popular picks of the endless spells and all the other sort of realm artifacts. Yeah, good point.
I play a bit of Iron Jaws. I'm a destruction guy. That's my background. I play a bit of Iron Jaws, and with the +1 that you get from your allegiance ability, I've just got it in my head that Iron Jaws can't fail a charge. And I think you're right, Luke. There's going to be so many bonuses to charge out there. People are in for a rude surprise. Yeah, people are going to think I can't fail a charge, and then you pop that 5 up, and that's them fucked, isn't it? Yeah. So what you got for us, Luke?
Rightio. So for the first one, I've gone with the Gyropian Gauntlets. So basically, it's add 3 inches to your pile-in move. So what I'm really liking about this one, firstly, playing Def, a lot of models have the fly keyword. So for me, initially, it starts off as, right, pile in, jump over the screen, hit the guy behind it. Then I started thinking a little bit more about how I could make it work. I thought, right, so if I've got something like a Vampire Lord with a Zombie Dragon, and I charge into a model with a really large base, new rules. I can be in base contact. I can start to wrap around and wrap all the way around 6 inches onto my opponent's large model base, hit something a long way away. So all of a sudden, the 10-inch charge, you're actually potentially reaching maybe 15, 16 inches.
That's awesome. And
that is awesome.
Do you have any opportunity to do some sneaky mortal wounds, or is that phase specific? You know the type of thing I'm talking about, like hex rates and things. Is the now obviously hex rates can't take an artifact, but
mostly it's not even something like that. Movement phase for mostly things like that, but no, not too much of it.
Still, though, you'll get some good shenanigans out of it.
It's a chance to reach something that's a long way away, something like a sneaky Hag Queen or a buffing piece. They think it's out of range. They think it's safe. Wrap around and get them.
Yeah, I think it's a good shout. I think in this meta, there's going to be a lot of screening and chaff screening with the short deployments, and you're going to have a lot of times when people think they're safe behind a line of 10 dweebs, and then you've got a nasty surprise from them, don't you? Yep. That's a good one. What about you, Joel? What you got for us?
I've gone with the obvious choice and gone the Guy Strike, which is on a hero +1 to hit and wound. How can you not like that? Basically, how I'd incorporate that in our list, playing Slanesh, I love my Exalted Great Demons. So +1 to hit and wound on Big Tits, as we call her, is just going to min stuff. So there's not much else to say about it except that it's awesome.
It is lethal.
If you've got a killer hero, stick it on it.
It is lethal. It's a bit like the old Battle Brew, +1 to both hit and wound every turn. Yeah, I already used that once on my on a Tyrant, and we're playing a game of Triumph and Treachery, so a 3-player game, and it was me, Shane, and Ro in Kyneton here, and I went into Ro's Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster, full health, went in and as you probably know, the loadout you can do on the Tyrant, you can get him popping 6 damage a swing. So Shane's standing there. Yeah, Shane's standing there looking at the damage table for a Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster, thinking, I wonder what he's like on his second tier. And then across the room, you know what he hears? Take it off.
Take it off.
Take it off. He's picking it up. One swing from the Tyrant. See you later. Good night. And that's what Gaia Strike can do. It is awesome. Yeah, that's a good shout, Joel. I like that one. I think we'll see a lot of it. Yep. It's a good shout. So
I think so too. Definitely on the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster too, like just that +1 to wound, making that pop on a 5-up instead of a 6 is huge.
Yeah, definitely. It's the same with the Tyrant because he pops on a 6-up to wound as well. And anytime you can start 6s to hit, 6s to wound, anytime you can start stacking those buffs and start making them pop, it's huge, definitely.
Oh yeah.
So moving on to Gur, my home realm, the Realm of Beasts. I have got one for you, which I think is possibly the most fun in the whole book. It's probably not the most competitive choice, but it does come with its own props. It is the Gargant-Bone Dice. So once per battle in your hero phase, you declare that you'll roll your Gargant-Bone Dice. You roll 3 dice. It doesn't say so in the rules, but I think it's compulsory that they have to be fucking massive. And for every 5 up, every enemy unit within 6 of the bearer suffers D3 mortal wounds. Now, a couple of things I like about this one. It's mortal wounds in the hero phase that do not come from magic. So your Lens of Refraction, which I'm sure we'll be covering later, can fuck right off. It's not reducing them at all. I like the fact that it's thematic and it can do massive burst damage. And I especially like the fact that I've already found my Gargant bone dice. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
Oh shit!
No, believe me.
You know how it does mortals in the hero phase? You just roll them on the table, and whatever it knocks over dies. Yeah,
that's the
how
idea.
it works?
Yeah, Kingpin style. And you know what? I reckon there's one bloke at every gaming club. I reckon the folks at home watching the video are thinking, "Yep, I know who you mean." There's one of these bastards at every gaming club who just sends models scattering every time he plays. In a measured game, it's Pat. We love you, Pat, but you are a clumsy bastard.
Oh, yeah.
And when I play you, I'm bringing these Gargantuan bone dice, and I am fucking piffing them into the middle of your army, and you can fucking cop that. Doing it Saigo style, straight on your fucking bloodthirster. So yeah, I've got my Gargant dice here. Going to be spraying these Xandri dust and painting them up, and having some fun with these. And actually, they look like flimsy cheap plastic. They weigh a fucking ton. They are awesome. What you got for us, Luke?
Awesome.
Rightio. So probably a pretty obvious one here. Gone with the Griff Feather Charm. So
no, that's mine, you bastard.
+1. Look, you've got a couple we'll like, I'm sure. Basically, yeah. Anything that offers 2 benefits, it's always a winner. But how I'm particularly looking at this one, I'm actually more interested in the minus to hit than I am in the actual move. So I'm looking at as, firstly, I've got my -1 there. Secondly, I've got Overwhelming Dread for another -1, potentially -2. Neferata's command ability, 12-inch bubble at full health, another -1. So you can really start to shut an army down with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pick for that one.
That's a good one.
It is a good one. I would put this again on an Exalted Greater Demon of Slaanesh. And so just that neg 1 to hit and +1 move, gives her a 15-inch base, throws on a Seeker Host, makes it a 17-inch move, +2 to charge, cogs, 19-inch move. That neg 1 to hit, Hellstrider's banners still stack. So you can get that neg 1 to like neg 5 if you want to for fuck all investment. That's how I'll utilize that.
And what I like about it as well, it's subtract 1 from hit rolls. There's no phase there. There's quite a bit of
it's just
it stops getting shot off. Yeah, no, it's real strong.
Even if you were to put that on a small hero who can benefit from the new Lookout serve rule, neg 2 to shoot at.
That's crippling.
That's insane. Yeah, it is.
No, that's awesome. So how about you, Joel? You got the same one for us?
Yeah, I got the same one, yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very strong. Very strong. So in Shamon, I have gone with Gildanbane, and I've got a little bit of tech to go with this for you as well. So Gildanbane, if the enemy model is the bearer of an artifact of power, they cannot use the rules for their artifact while they are within 3 of the bearer of the Gildanbane. So you give your guy the Gildanbane, get them within 3 of an enemy model, and it shuts down their artifacts. What I like about that one is I'm looking forward to having fun with the endless spells. As a destruction player, I'm looking forward to throwing Foot of Gork through portals, throwing the Great Maw through portals, and the Lenser of Fractions just pissing on my chips. So I like the idea of being able to shut that shit down. Obviously, you've got to get within 3 inches of them. A couple of ways you can do that. I guess if you're playing Stormcast, your classic Lord Celestant on Stardrake, just fling him in there and he probably ain't going to die for a turn. So if you've got a super durable hero, or a death hero pumping out the debuffs, for example, if you've got a very durable hero, you can put them in there and just tough it out. The way I'm looking at doing it potentially in a mixed destruction army, and it's a bit tricked out, and it's not reliable by any stretch, but thinking about popping cogs, bringing down an Icebrow Hunter who can deep strike anywhere on the board 9 inches away. And then with the destruction move, if you're within 12, you can attempt to charge. Now, normally that's a drawback because you'd rather move up to within 3 inches and then charge. But in this particular occasion where you want to get there in the hero phase, and you've got cogs down, basically you're attempting a 7-inch charge effectively, which is roughly a 60-40 chance of making it. You're attempting a 7-inch charge to get in there in the hero phase and block their lens, and then you unleash hell through the portal. Is it reliable? Of course not. But it's we ain't playing on easy mode when we're bringing things like Icebrow Hunters. It's all about the poetry. So I think it's a strong choice for a couple of different armies, and that's how I'd use it in Destruction. What do you think? Do you like that one?
Yeah, I've actually picked Gildanbane myself.
It's a bit of a
I
sleeper
was
pick,
thinking, I also play Stormcast for those that don't know, and I was thinking of like chucking on a Star Drag, sending it in, you know, get stuck in, 1-up saves, whatever, re-rolling for days. Get that Gildan Bane within 3 inches of that lens, drop down a Meteor and just fuck shit up.
Yeah.
That's the plan. If I was to use that.
Even things like there'll be a lot of people using artifacts to keep their key heroes alive. You know, buffing their survivability, and you know, it's really
even if someone has, we've already talked about like the Griff Feather Charm or the Guy Strike, you can't use that anymore. You know, it's not just a counter for lenses; it's a counter for everything. Like even if you're versing, say, a mirror shielded Star Drake, you can't use that mirror shield anymore. It's a huge game changer, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's strange. I've not really heard many people talking about it. It seems to be a bit of a stealth pick at the moment. It's or maybe
it's just us Victorians not knowing what we're doing, mate.
That must be it. How about you? Look what you got for us.
Rightio, I've actually gone a little bit simple. I thought the Gildan Bane for this one is a pretty clear first pick for me. So I've actually worked on the idea, thinking for Flesh Eater Courts Battalion. I've got a second artifact. So I'm thinking this one I'd actually put on something like Crypt Horner Courtier. Few attacks, lots of damage, no rend. So let's give it -3 rend just because we can. And I was having a bit of a flick through this as well. And thinking, there's a lot of things in Destruction as well that could really benefit from it. Obviously, it's got the negative where it won't affect a mount. But even something like a Maw Crusher, it's still got enough attacks with the rider that can really buff them up, particularly as the second choice if you're running a battalion.
I think you've touched on one of my pet peeves there, Luke. There's a lot of these that benefit a combat hero massively, and virtually all of Destruction's combat beat sticks are riding on the back of a big beast that does all the damage. And I think it's known as the Stonehorn effect. We're still paying the tax for those 6 months of glory when the Frostlord on Stonehorn was just an unstoppable cannonball, and never again will we know that glory. But like you said, it's viable on a Mega Boss or Maw Crusher. The other one I like it is the Frostlord on Stonehorn. He's got, I think, 4 attacks. They're Rend 1 damage 3. You make them Rend 3 damage 3, and he's punching out as much as the Stonehorn itself all of a sudden. I agree with you. There's definitely
different ball game.
I was planning on putting it on Exalted Great Demoness Slanesh. She's got 2 weapon profiles, so she's got a sword with 4 attacks, -2 rend that does 3 damage. But I was actually thinking of putting on her claws, which is 7 attacks.
Wow.
Which is normally -1 but 2 damage. So making that -3 is just insane. That's even awesome. Like on just a hero that doesn't have rend but just has a whole heap of chaff attacks, just makes them go off their nannies.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And again, if you've got 2 or 3 artifacts like you were saying, Luke, you can pick the one that fucks with the mechanic a bit, and then make something an unexpected beat stick. It's a good combo. So
yeah, I think you're on the money with the Cordia. It's a good idea.
Definitely. Actually, I found the most difficult because there's quite a few really good ones here. I have gone with the Thermal Rider Cloak with my Destruction hat on, because I quite like the idea of flying Stonehorns. So it's add 4.
So we've moved to Actually, have we?
Yeah, we're on Actually now.
Yeah.
Thermal Rider Cloak, add 4 to the movement characteristic, and in addition, the bearer may fly. Now, you know what? I think adding 4 inches to your movement on its own, or adding the keyword fly on its own, would be a top tier artifact. Getting both, bargain. How say you? What do you reckon, Joel?
I've chose the Thermal Rider Cloak too. Just if you haven't guessed by now, I really love my Exalted Greater Demons of Slanesh. And so I can give one a 22-inch move really easily with this artifact. And being able to fly at +4 to charge, potentially +5 with one of the Actually spells. She's flying over chaff screens. She's hitting stuff. She's attacking straight after the first, like double attacks. Yeah, this is what I've been running since the book first came out. this artifact because I don't have battalions, so I only get to choose one, and I've only ever played with the Thermal Rider Cloak.
I think the thing that you've got in terms of list tech, it's actually doubling up with what Luke said earlier with the 6-inch piling, because you often give her the command trait for the 6-inch piling. So then she gets fly on top.
I can't give him that anymore. I can't give him a command trait. No, I can't because they're not leader anymore. Anyway, that's a topic of discussion for another time.
Yeah.
But so she can't do that. So she's just sticking to charges. Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll get FA.
She doesn't need it.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, right. Because every time I've thought about versing your big tits build, I've always thought, well, turn one, I'll just put 10 idiots on the front line, and she can completely murder them. And then she'll get to pile in twice, and then she hits the second screen of idiots, so you have to put up 2 layers. But then when she's flying straight over them, your double screen even then isn't going to be enough because she's going to be right in the grill, and then flying over the top of that charge. Yeah, it makes it very, very difficult to deal with. How about you, Luke? What you got?
Look, I almost feel like I need to go back to the book and find another one, so I had to go with that as well.
Triple whammy.
And simple reason, Vampire Lord Zombie Dragon, 14-inch move, throw the pinion spell, 5, potentially 10, add the artifact, add the cogs. You're basically moving potential 28 inches plus the charge with fly. Just pick someone, get rid of them.
You're going where you want, aren't you?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's a good combo. Yeah.
Special mention to the scales one as well. What does that do again? It's the I don't have the book in front of me. Yeah, 4-up mortal save.
Yeah, was very close to picking that. Yeah.
Yeah. Each time you take a mortal on a 4+, you negate it.
I think that's so powerful for armies like Sylvaneth and Stormcast, who they've still got the 2-up reroll and 1s, and the argument's always been, well, I know I can't possibly damage you with normal attacks, but you've got no mortal save, you've got no mortal wound protection. If I can pump a dozen mortal wounds into you, gone. You put that on your tree lord range.
Yeah, it's not a 5-up or a 6-up like all the other ones. It's a fucking 4-up.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that. Like, if you've got your unkillable Star Drake, it's going to be hard to look past it, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So moving on to Sheesh, I have picked probably the one I'm most excited about with my Beast Claw hat on, which is Ethereal Amulet. Makes whatever has it ethereal, essentially. Ignore modifiers, positive or negative, when making saves for the model. So combos really nicely with the new Mystic Shield. You've got any hero in the game with a 3-up save. You put Mystic Shield on, so it's 3-up reroll and 1s. You're given the amulet, so that ignore and rend, unmodifiable 3-up reroll and 1s, and that's going to be really, really hard for anyone to chew through. It's basically mortal wounds. I don't bother, pretty much. I'm thinking about that one on Mega Boss or Maw Crusher or a Stonehorn, either of the above. Just slap that on them and cannonball them in there.
Oh yeah.
What you got, Joel?
I've chosen the Ragged Cloak. And I don't know, I've picked a couple of cloaks actually in all these 8 realms. But this one here, once per game, you can't be shot at. Pretty much sums it up nicely. With the way that alpha striking is at the moment, and it's going to be probably a lot stronger once the meta develops. You'll put this on a key piece, buffing hero. Can't be shot at, no worries. Now I'm going to fuck you the next turn.
So that's I think the way it's worded is may not be chosen as the target of an attack until the end of the phase. So I guess the last unit to shoot can shoot them. Is that how you're reading that?
No, units don't shoot at the end of the phase.
So as soon as you choose them as a target, the phase is over and they can't shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that. I like it. I prefer that. Fuck you, Kilo.
I think, you saw your clown cars floating around. You got Skyfires. I'm sure there's plenty of other ranged Alpha Strike. Just not being able to be shot at is pretty cool.
Even the ballistas, people are going to be relying on chip damage from 4 ballistas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be deep striking in with a Ordinata or some shit. And yeah, not going to be able to do anything.
Are you going to model a cloak onto your hero that has it?
Maybe. It's a
Maybe.
ragged cloak. That'd be pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
It's nothing fancy.
You could take an orc banner and cut that off. That would be a good ragged cloak, I reckon. They're usually a bit tatty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
Do it.
I've got a few Brayherd and Warhead cloak sort of things floating around, so they might work as well.
Yep, suitably scruffy. How about you? Look what you got for us.
Rightio, I'm going Ethereal as well on this one for a completely different reason. So, new Nighthaunt. Ignoring the Black Coach, it's not out yet. So there's two things the army doesn't have. Number one, big monsters. Number two, grave sites. So basically, you put Ethereal on the Vampire Lord Zombie Dragon. You take Neferata. Neferata's got a spell to do the same thing. So there's your two monsters. They're now Ethereal. Then you fill the rest of the points out with Nighthaunt. And you've got the grave sites. So it gives you the best of Nighthaunt and Legions of Nagash all in one list.
I love
Not
it.
necessarily competitive, but something different, bit of fun.
It would certainly fucking infuriate me as an Iron Jaws player, where you've basically
Oh,
spent
yes.
to have the entire army at round one. And you're like, oh, you've got a nice
You can
sharp
take
sword. That's wonderful. Swish. Yeah.
That's it. Take your -3 Rend, Law
Yeah.
Crusher.
Yeah. No, it's good. A
All
lot of
good.
your artifacts are designed around trolling your opponent, it seems.
Maybe.
You're the king of the fuck you, aren't you?
It's my turn.
No, that's good, mate. That's good, mate. I like it. So, moving on to Ulgu, and when I did this, I went through the book and circled the ones I was interested in. I've circled about 70% of them in Ulgu. There are just so many solid picks here.
This is probably one of the best realms just overall, including the spells. And if you were to play the realm rules, there's a lot of fuck yous. So, yeah, I think this one's really interesting.
Really strong choice. The one I've gone with is the Blade of Secrets. So this one, when you attack with this weapon, you allocate wounds from this weapon before any others, if you've got multiple weapon profiles. If you wound them at all with it, so essentially if you do any wounds at all, by default they come from this weapon, and it's to an enemy wizard, you pick one of their spells and they lose that spell forever. Now, what I like about that one is a lot of armies are built around one key spell. So quite often a movement spell or a functionality spell. But even with something like Daughters of Cain, if they've say taken Mind Razor and said, I'm going to put it on Marathi. Yeah, the obvious choice. It's the very bog standard Daughters of Cain armies with Marathi, a Cauldron, a couple of units of 30 witch elves, the real basic netlist stuff. If they put it on Marathi and say, okay, I'm going to give her Mind Razor, I don't need to double up for redundancy because you can't kill Marathi before turn 3 or whatever, barring miracles. Excuse me. You can really pull the rug out from under them by taking that key piece away from them without even having to kill that enemy wizard. So I think it probably wouldn't be the first one I was picking if I was only picking one artifact, but if I'm picking 2 or 3, it's definitely going to be in consideration.
I really like that one too, actually. Just for the reasons that you said. I only run sort of one buffing piece in an army, and being able to take away demonic power for a Chaos Sorcerer Lord is huge. Because that really, I really rely on that in a way for my output. So yeah, I mean, you'd probably kill it in a turn anyway because they're really shit survivability wise. But yeah, on the odd chance that you don't.
Another one's maybe something like Nurgle, where you could say, okay, I'm a great unclean one. He's got healing out the wazoo. He's going to be really, really difficult to kill in one turn. I'm only putting blades on him because I know you can't kill him in one turn. And then you just take away blades from his whole army because you do one wound to one wizard. I think you could really see.
Yeah, like on a Glockin or something.
Yeah, the Glockin's a good shout. It's a good shout. How about you? Look what you got for us.
Rightio. This one I've gone with the double Ganger Cloak. Not actually for competitive reasons at all. Would you like me to quickly change it? No, look, this one, more narrative reasons, actually. I just like the idea. It's finally giving you a chance to be able to have something like a Vampire Lord on a steed, have him lead from the front of the pack, have your Blood Knights behind. If they pile in and he piles in, they all make their charge. Basically, you can leave him to last, but it means you can actually charge with your hero at the front and not have to worry about him getting sniped off before he gets a chance to do anything.
No,
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. How about you, Joel? What you got?
I also got the Doppelganger Cloak for similar reasons. In Age of Sigmar, coming from a 40k background for all those years, used to just charge your Space Marine captain in willy-nilly, it didn't matter. But now, in Age of Sigmar anyway, you can't really do that. You have to kind of keep your smaller heroes at the back. They might be a bit killy, but having this cloak, like the Doppelganger Cloak, just not being able to be targeted is huge, I think. Especially if they can just want to get stuck in. Maybe in smaller games as well, it's going to sort of plane a bit more into it. But yeah, like 1,000 points, I think having that, say, on a Lord Salston, for example, he could go chop some stuff up after the unit of Liberators behind him have taken the hits.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I've got a destruction list I run with a 1-2 punch of a Maw Crusher and a Magma Dragon, and yeah, tagging two ends of a big unit. You attack first with a Magma Dragon, and you know that the Maw Crusher is safe until you're going to strike twice on that key unit, essentially. Get hits in first. Yeah.
Smart players will be able to use the cloak really well if they use their activations right. So you always want to have more activations than your opponent, so you can take advantage of it.
Yeah. I guess your classic rule of thumb is you charge an odd number of units in, so 1 or 3, so you get the majority of the first activations, whereas this lets you do 2 because you're activating both first. Yeah, I think that's important, Joel. Yeah, you're right. Moving on to Hish, the Realm of Banishment. This has probably got the 2 most popular artifacts, I reckon, in terms of what people have been talking about, and I am going to be Captain Obvious here and say Lens of Refraction.
Yeah, same, yeah.
Yeah, I think the way it's written at the moment, it's hard to look past it, ain't it? Everyone's taking the endless spells because they're sexy. There's a bit of a magic meta with the supercasters at the moment, and the fact that it's within 6 inches. So just in case there is anyone who doesn't know what Lens does, you give it to one of your dudes. Every unit within 6 inches of him, when they take mortal wounds from a spell, roll a d3 and reduce the number of mortal wounds suffered by d3. So you're taking d3 off the magic, off the wounds suffered from magic for every unit within 6 inches. And the most important word is the one I didn't say, which is holy. I think that's why it's so powerful, is because you don't have to be wholly within. You only have to.
Yeah. So you could have a horde army which is strung out across your entire deployment zone and half across the table, which is taking d3 less mortals from any of the endless spells, any of the regular spells, arcane bolts doing fuck all to anything.
Yeah.
Even
most of the endless spells are d3, so d3 minus d3 on average is fuck all.
Yeah.
A couple of
like Burning Head, fucking all of them, except for what's the only d6 one? It's Pendulum. The bloody Pendulum, yeah.
And even that d6 minus d3 is a lot less than d6, ain't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can still roll shit on that. If you roll a 1, you just automatically save it.
There's a funny one for you. And this is something I've not heard anybody talking about. It does not say reduce it to a minimum of 0. Could you suffer negative mortal wounds and actually heal? If they do a 1 and you reduce it to 3.
No, I don't think that's how it works, man. I don't think that's how it works.
So one thing about that one as well.
Yep.
So when I'm not playing Deaf, I'm playing Croak. Another bloke who's been exploited of late. Yep. So he's obviously been very talked about on the competitive groups of late. Croak defense. He's spitting out lots and lots of D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
So potentially halving or even dropping his damage output by a third or even 2/3.
I didn't actually think of that, because normally when people play Croak, they're like, I did 100 mortal wounds in a turn. But it's all D3 at a time, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So it's D3 at a time to 4 or 5 units at a time.
Yeah, and this is minus D3 to an area of effect bubble as well. So yeah, now you're
all
on the
of
money
them.
there, Luke. You're on the money.
Yep, without a doubt. That's a good plan.
Yep. There is one other I have taken here. When I played Pat at the club last week, I put the Guardian's Coronet, which is a once per game 4-up save after save. Does not apply to mortal wounds, only applies to normal wounds. But again, that worked well with my Kiss Kiss Bang Bang list with the Magma Dragon and Maw Crusher. Put it on the Maw Crusher and attacked with the Magma Dragon first. Left the Maw Crusher with his 3-up, 4-up save. So by the time he attacked, he might have took 1 wound maybe, so he's still in his top tier. So it's situational, but for a build that I do use, if you're kamikaze and if you're YOLOing something, that 4-up once per game Guardian's Coronet, it's worth considering. Yeah. Yep.
Good shout.
Yep. So that is all the realms. I will just mention there was a big tournament in the US at the weekend there, the Midwest Meltdown. They had 58 players, so the biggest AOS 2.0 event so far. The power picks there, the only ones to have got picked more than once were the Lens, got taken 8 times. Ethereum got taken 6 times. The Aether Quartz Brooch, which none of us mentioned, surprisingly. That's the one that gets you, on a 5-up, you get an extra command point back. That's a power pick for sure. That was taken 3 times, and Gaia Strike was taken 3 times. I think the rest of them, if the few of them were taken 1 time each, but if it's taken once out of 58 players, you can't say it's a meta pick as such. There's some that have been talked about, but they were the ones.
Going back to the Brooch, that's the 5-up regain a command point?
Yep, that's it. The Aether Quartz.
Yeah, that one. I feel like I know for my list writing anyway at the moment, I'm not focusing on using a whole lot of command points, because what you would spend them on, like say making that 6-inch run or re-rolling the charge roll, I don't really find necessary. Maybe that's just me because I play fast armies. But yeah, I'm only really using command points on 1, maybe 2 command abilities a turn. And I'm normally starting with an extra one in my pocket. So yeah, I guess there's other builds out there, but
yeah,
I don't find the worth in it at the moment, personally.
I think the builds that will want to use it, or if MoonClan becomes big, I was just thinking, sometimes I play Grots as battle line, and I would, or even, the Cunning Rook where you've got a couple of big blocks. If you've got a couple of big units there, you might need to use multiple battle shock protections per turn. So getting one turn in 3, you're getting a double bubble. You're getting an extra one back. Yeah, I would say probably armies that cover the table and cheap shit, it's probably more useful for them.
Yeah, they'd actually, just thinking of it, would be pretty good with the Brayherd.
Yeah.
They could use some battle shock immunity.
Yeah. Yep. So
the other thing I like about that one, sorry, Pete, you go.
You go, mate. Yep.
Yep. The other thing I like about that one as well, so building a death list, I'm basically building a list exactly how I want it. Taking that artifact, every time I roll a 5+, I get to bring a unit back on the table. So it means I don't have to plan my list building with resurrecting units in mind. If I roll a 5+, well, I'll have that 40 Blubber Scallies back.
Yeah, the similar one with my destruction hat on is the War spam. So you're popping a War and giving every Auric an extra attack. Hit a 5-up, that's 2 extra attacks. Hit an extra 5-up, it's another 3 extra attacks. Yeah, that's one that it doesn't matter how many times you get it, you can just keep spamming it and spamming it. Yeah.
I really hope they change that. Spam command abilities.
Killjoy.
Yeah. For the moment, though, you're right.
So what do we think are the top 3 power picks and the top 3 renegade picks? Lens has got to be up there, surely.
Lens is probably the first.
Yep.
Sorry.
Gaia Strike?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the Thermal Rider Cloak, it's just got so many applications. Doesn't matter if you've got a mount, it's still getting the benefit of it.
Yep.
I think it's definitely going to be a popular one.
Thermal Ride is definitely going to be a thing.
We'll put an Ethereal in there.
Yeah,
I
think
in
so
top tier as well. Yep,
potentially
top pick. Yep. And then what about the stealth picks? The Hyper Snare Seeds, that was a one that a couple of us picked up.
Yep, I like that one, and I also like the Griff Feather Charm as a stealth pick.
Yep. And then the one that shuts down Gildenbane. That shuts down their artifacts.
Yeah.
Nobody at all took it at Midwest Meltdown, so it's certainly not a meta
I think
pick.
I think just the way it is at the moment, it's still sort of new. People haven't really sort of discovered what they can do with all these new artifacts yet.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good one. I just think it's slipped under the radar a little bit. And you need the delivery mechanism. That's probably the downside. But if you've got the delivery mechanism, I think it's not to be underestimated for sure.
For sure.
Yep. So we are Measured Gaming. We're in Bendigo, which is 1 hour 45 minutes north of Melbourne, roughly, in the Australian bush. If you're in Victoria, the state of Victoria, come and see us, get in touch, join the Facebook page. Joel, you're on Twitter. What's your handle? Yep,
it's Joel McGrath MG.
Joel McGrath MG. Luke, you're on Twitter. Your handle's fucking shit. What is it?
I honestly don't know.
I don't fucking know it. It's horrible. What is it?
I don't know, Luke, and then a whole bunch of numbers. So yeah, I'm just under my name, Luke on Facebook. And
literally fucking 20 numbers.
Yeah. Don't even bother trying to look him up. You won't find him. He doesn't know himself.
That's it.
You need to spell that out, mate. I'm Plastic Crack. Crack like Irish crack, CRAIC. Come join us at Measured Gaming. Join the Facebook page. You'll see us at tournaments in Melbourne. You'll see us at tournaments around Australia. Next one coming up is Blue Dragon.
We're in this shit.
We're in this shit.
Yeah, Blue Dragon.
Yep, we'll be sending a squad to that one in Melbourne. Big shout out to Sam and the boys.
It's only a small squad going to Blue Dragon. Then we've also, while we're shouting out tourneys, we've got Bendigo's Bush Bash Bonanza, which is it's late October, I think.
Yep, October. Yeah. I'd have to check, but yeah, it's in October.
Yeah. Yep. So that's going to be a ripper as well. Fully licensed venue, 5 rounds, 2 days, awesome tables, awesome terrain, mats on all our tables as well. Something you don't see too often. So quite dice rolls.
Fully licensed venue as well. Chance to get on the Battle Brew.
Yeah, that's right, mate. It's been fun tonight.
Yeah,
getting on the Battle Brews.
And hopefully everyone watching the video enjoyed it. If you've got any thoughts, leave it in the comments. Hit us up on Twitter and let us know which ones you like. Your power picks, your stealth picks, and looking forward to
for sure. I'd love to know what other people are thinking about the realm stuff in general, and also the artifacts and even the spells. Let us know what you like. We're always here to, learn what other people want to do.
And
just do it.
We're not heathens, so we'll end up on a prayer. May God bring you strength.
No, it doesn't matter what you hear.
Ciao, Bella.